Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Elias, and in today's video we are going to be basically talking about all the books I want to read before the year ends of 2020. As you guys are fully aware, we only have roughly a month and a half left before 2020 ends. We're all shocked at how fast this year has flown by. I still can't believe we're in the middle of November already. It felt like just a short while ago we were back in March. It's funny because in my Goodreads, on my Goodreads goal for the amount of books I want to read, I set a goal of 100 books. We're not going to talk about that. However, I just want to point out that I have since doubled the amount of books that I read since last year. Last year I read around, I want to say 25 to 30 books. This year I have already read around 65. I'm pretty proud of myself. It's a huge feat for me anyways. It's pretty much one of the best reading years I've had so far because of Miss Corona and the pandemic and the lockdown, so more time for reading, I guess. But we'll see. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm like eyeing the bookshelf at all the manga and graphic novels that I have that I could possibly read to wipe out that goal. 25 books. But in this video, I will be talking about the 6 books I strictly want to read before the end of the year. This isn't by far an ambitious TBR like at all. This is just a tentative TBR, as you will, because I'm not even too sure I might be able to get through these 6 books. But these are the 6 books I really am dying to read at the moment. But before we get started, I would like to mention that this video is kindly sponsored by Disney Book Group in honor of the release of Rebel Rose by Emma Terrio. This is the first book in the Queen's Counsel series, a YA historical fiction fantasy. And here's the twist. This is sort of a reimagining of what happens, what comes next after the story of Beauty and the Beast. So I'm pretty sure we're all aware, we all know the legendary classic that is Beauty and the Beast. And you know, I've always wondered as a kid, like what happened afterwards? Sure, they find their happily ever after, but what comes next? What happens next in their little perfect little bubble of a world? I have one of those answers right here in my hands. Rebel Rose takes Belle's story after the events of Beauty and the Beast as she navigates her kingdom, political intrigue, and also magic, grappling her role as a queen and struggling between her past life as a commoner and her future of royalty. However, through it all, there's a deep, darker threat on the horizon. That threat is the oncoming war. Like I said before, this takes place during the French Revolution, so I'm also really keen and intrigued as to how the story will navigate through Belle's story, her role as a queen, especially this danger, this looming threat that is the French Revolution. Basically, in all, if Happily Ever After was just the beginning. This book is out in stores. It came out on November 10th, and I will leave all the links down in the description box below if you guys are interested in picking up a copy. And thank you again to Disney Book Group for sending a copy my way. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into all the books I want to read by the end of the year. So, at the top of the list, number 1, Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I'm actually currently reading this book right now, and roughly 80 pages in. Basically, every good thing that I've heard about this book so far, and I'm only 80 pages in, hands down, I agree. 10 out of 10. I can already smell some really great things happening here. Some really interesting things are really cooking up in here, and I'm not even that far into the book. So if you guys aren't aware, I'm currently reading this book with Noelle and Joel for the Late Night Book Club, and we will be having the live show on Joel's channel at the end of the month, a specific date to be determined. The first chapter already completely hooked. Really sets the dark and intense tone already for the rest of the book, and I'm here for it. Pretty excited for this one. I already know that I will be finishing this book because, you know, 1, I have to because of the book club, and 2, I'm already enjoying it. So what more? What more can I ask? Alright, so the second book I want to read is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. Let's just take a step back because I cannot tell you how excited I am to read this book. 1, I can count on one hand how many books I've read by Vietnamese authors. In case you guys aren't aware or didn't know, I'm Vietnamese. Literally, it's almost a shame that I haven't read a lot of books written by Vietnamese authors. So this book basically is about a letter that a son writes to his mother. And that's pretty much it. That's all I know about this book. The blurb is extremely vague, and I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually okay with it being really ambiguous because it's a really short book. And I heard from all the Goodreads reviews that this book is really emotional and a tearjerker. So, you know, preparing myself, but I'm very excited. I heard that this book itself is an exploration of race, class, and masculinity. 1000% here for it. It's honestly a crime that I haven't even heard of this book before. I'm really surprised at how short this book. Granted, it's a letter, but there's just something special about books that are just 250 to 300 pages long, if you get what I mean. The shorter the book is, the more impactful it is to me. Pretty excited for this one. So this next book, I am incredibly excited to read. I just picked this one up, and I've heard Basically, every book on this list I've heard incredible things about. This one is Homegoing by Ya Jessie. This is one of the more recent books that I've heard really great things about just because her second book that just came out, Transcendent Kingdom. If you guys like literary fiction, that was all a lot of my friends talked about, the people who mostly read literary fiction. They were just raving about it, especially her first book, and I was really intrigued. And I read the blurb, saw the reviews, and here it is in my hands. So, this book is about two half-sisters who are born into two different villages, unaware of each other's existence. And through there, we not only follow these two sisters, but also through their descendants, through 8 generations. That's pretty much the gist of what this book is about. Again, we have another short book. This is pretty high up there on my list. I heard this book is also an emotional tearjerker. So December is basically going to be the month where I'm going to have a ton of tissues ready. So this next one, also a really short one. Guys, we are on a roll with short books today. The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwake Emezi. So this short book, oh my god, how many pages? How many pages are you? Less than 230 pages? There is absolutely no reason why I shouldn't be able to get through these books. This book is thin. Look how skinny this is. So from my understanding, this book is about a mother who finds the body of her dead son in front of her home. And throughout it all, it chronicles the life of her son before his death. We have another emotional tearjerker read right here. Honestly, no complaints. All I can say is that December is gonna wreck me, and I'm here for it. So this next book is only here because I have to read it for the late night book club for the month of December. And that book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab. Actually, this book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, because I know she has 2 pen names. So if you and your mother have not heard of this book, I applaud you, because this book, ever since it has been released, is everywhere. It has really mixed reviews. People either really love it, people either really hate it, or people just really don't care. So overall, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews, but overall, more good than bad. And honestly, I'm intrigued. The premise itself sounds really lovely, and I'm planning on going to this book. Of all the books here, I'm planning on going to this one with rather an open mind. I sort of have, I was gonna say love to hate relationship, but I don't hate her books, or I don't like her books. I don't like her books. I've actually enjoyed books that she's written, and I've only read her YA series, The Archived, and the first 2 books in, gee, I forgot the title already. It's about a guy named Cal who goes to parallel universes of London. Something like that. A Darker Shade of Magic. There it is. That's the title. And I've only read the first 2 books in that series, and I liked it. But I thought it was just a little overhyped in my opinion. I thought it was alright, and the writing style didn't wow me. So I don't know. We'll see where this one takes me. But if you guys don't know what this book is about, you've been living under a rock. It's basically about a girl who sells her soul to the devil for whatever reason so that she can live forever. Again, why? The only downside is that no one can remember her. I mean, no one's gonna remember her anyway after they're dead. Anyways, so no one remembers her. And so one day she goes into this bookshop and she meets a dude. And that dude actually remembers her. Really intrigued because it has to do with like a bookshop. I'm more interested, I guess, in that dude than the actual story, which says a lot. So, we'll see. Alright guys, last and not least, I could not include a thriller in this TBR. And the last one is Rules for Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. It's been such a long time since I've read any book written by Peter Swanson, let alone a good, decent thriller. Before you get confused, this is the UK edition. It has a completely different title and a different cover. I first saw the UK edition and I was like, yeah, US, you suck, get out of here. I totally forgot what the US title for this book is. I'll leave that on the screen somewhere. Saw this, got it, bought it, and was about to read it until I looked up reviews. And thank God that I did, because this book actually spoils the endings for other books. Because here's the thing. This book is about a serial killer who kills his victims in an eerie resemblance to the crimes depicted in mystery novels. Sounds intriguing, right? But what are those mystery novels, you might ask? One of them is an Agatha Christie book, which I probably will never read. One of them is Strangers on a Train, and one of them is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. So I wanted to read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, didn't want to get spoiled for it. Pretty glad that I did, because I read it last month for the Late Night Book Club, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really mixed bag, somewhat enjoyable, somewhat not. I mean, you can hear all my thoughts for it. I have a live show for it. I finally read The Secret History, and I can finally now read this book. Again, we have another short thriller. Honestly, how many pages? 270 pages. December is basically going to be a month of short books, heartaches, tears and tissues, and hopefully presents, because Christmas. We have a serial killer taking murders from these books and acting them out in real life. I'm so excited to read this. It's been such a long time since I've read like a decent thriller, and I know so many of you guys have been asking me for a new thriller recommendations video, and hey, listen, there's a reason why I haven't made one in such a long time. It's because for me to even recommend a book, I either have to really love it, or I either have to find some way to recommend it to you guys, even though I didn't like it, if that makes any sense. I can't just be like, oh, this was an okay, and then recommend it to you guys. Like, I feel like that's so half-hearted in a way, because I feel like if I didn't really like a thriller, but at the same time I recommend it to you, what's to say basically recommend every single book, whether I hate it or not, to you guys? I mean, I could do that, but I feel like there's more merit to it, more heart to it, if I actually recommended a book to you guys that I thoroughly enjoyed, because, I don't know, some of you guys might have similar tastes or enjoy the taste I have in thrillers, you know? So that's one of the problems, and the other is actually reading enough thrillers that I like for a commendable video. You know, if I don't have the right ingredients, I can't make a full dish, am I right? So using that analogy, that's pretty much in a nutshell why I haven't made another thrillers recommendation video for you guys. I mean, the past couple videos that I did talking about the thriller books, I feel like they still are living it up. You know, there's still some really great titles on there that some people to this day are still watching for whatever reason. That thriller video is probably my most viewed video on this channel. If you guys are, you know, interested, if you guys are new to my channel looking for some decent thriller recommendations, I highly suggest you guys watch that one. So, alright guys, that's pretty much all of the books in this video that I want to talk about, that I want to read before 2020 ends. 2020. Who would have thought? I literally thought this year was going to be my year because I was graduating, I turned 25, I was going to get a job, I was going to travel. All three of those went out the window. I graduated, but you know what? Count my blessings, be grateful, be positive. 2020 is about to be over. You know, 2021 is going to be here, and that is the year where good things are going to happen. I can just feel it. I can feel it in my bones. 2021 is going to be a fantastic year. Hopefully. Thank you to you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys all soon with a new video.